Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Awaken the World. We are live right now. It is the 5th of April, if you can believe that. In the year 2021, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, if you're here on Earth or care about such things. Tonight, the Spiritual Law of Entropy. Hello, hello. So nice to see you all. We spent another day outside today, on the regular maintenance that has to be done when you have a home and a yard and wood decks and things like that. And, as we've done the maintenance this spring, and there's been a lot of it, it really came to mind that this was another good time to have this discussion again. And I do see Louisa's popped up. Hello, Louisa. How are you? I hope you didn't bite the head off any Easter bunnies. Maybe you did. Believe it or not, we didn't even have a clue it was Easter this weekend. I mean, we figured it out Thursday at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and that was really our first hint that it was Easter. But Kelly had come home with a turkey, although it is still quite frozen in the freezer. So what are we going to talk about tonight? Well, we're going to talk about the spiritual law of entropy. And this is really important for a lot of reasons, and you're going to come to understand why as soon as I stop talking about why it's important and just shut up and get to it. Before I do that, though, gotcha. Let me express my love for each and every one of you. Whatever you think is going wrong in your existence right now is actually quite perfect, as you are exactly who you need to be and exactly where you need to be right now in order to be able to grow and evolve in your conscious awakening back to the truth about your own self, back to that wonderful state of power and joy and harmony, no matter what life circumstances may bring you. And this is going to play into exactly what we're going to talk about here. So what the spiritual law of entropy is, and a lot of people say, well, wait a minute, there's a physical law of entropy in the universe, and they're really quite interchangeable because everything reflects everything else all the time. That's why things are quite evident in this world. There's really nothing complicated. And if it is complicated, it's because we're not seeing it clearly enough yet. When we see it clearly, we see that everything is quite simple. It really is. And so is this. So entropy can be thought of as, everything that is built up in complexity has a natural, gravity effect is like trying to pull it back down to simplicity again, right? So the more things become complex, the more the effects of entropy cling to it and try to pull it back down to its core state. And a very real example of this would be, for example, a tree. If you have a healthy, large tree, that tree is in a state of balance where it's actually growing, and parts of it are experiencing entropy, as is the whole tree on some level. But the tree itself has the ability to live for hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of years. Should it stay healthy, it could live for 1,000 or more. But the moment we cut that tree up and use the pieces of that tree to try to build what we perceive as a more complex object, i.e. a house or whatever the case may be, entropy really hits the fan. And that is a very simplistic way to look at entropy, but to me, it really explains the underpinnings of what's happening. So looking at the spiritual law of entropy, makes things even clearer yet. When you understand that everything is that core consciousness of creation with a capital C. All of it. Everything manifest and unmanifest is all that same God consciousness. Literally, the mind and body of God expressing itself, looking out, perceiving, looking out from itself, individuated back onto the whole of creation. So when it comes to spiritual entropy is all about the creation process. You see, all of that creation can be thought of as the womb of creation. It's literally an ocean of consciousness. And what has to happen in order for that consciousness to evolve from a state of non-being, in other words, we don't see it, to a state of physical appearance? Well, there's just a very few minor processes that happen. And those processes all involve attention. Thought, word, and deed equal creation on this planet. It's that simple. Your attention manifest and radiating out energetically with a form, the beginning of a form in your mind about what you perceive, that you want to draw or that you want to sculpt, or in my case, the set of stairs that I wanted to build for our deck. That begins in the realm of thought. It's an energetic form that literally imprints itself upon that consciousness of God itself, that creative consciousness, that ever-loving consciousness that says, as you wish. This is what you're imprinting on. The stairs are beginning. I spoke about the stairs. We went and picked up the materials. We took the actions. The stairs are materialized now. They are made of that same consciousness. But the moment I turn my back, attention-wise, on those stairs, entropy begins to set in. That now manifested remnant called the set of stairs off of our deck, you see, it's actually already old news. It's a monument to creation itself. The thought, the words, and the deeds that it took to create those stairs occurred in what we would call the past. They're done. The residual vibration of those thought, words, and deeds, i.e., including how much of myself did I place in those stairs, how much love and attention did I give to the work I was doing, how much respect did I have for the material, all of those things come to play into the relic, the monument that the stairs now are. And because they're a relic and a monument, unless I keep my attention on those stairs, unless I keep doing maintenance on those stairs, as we've done over the last days, I've been gleefully brushing a coat of linseed oil, which is nothing more than flaxseed, into the deck wood, and just marveling at the way the wood is so grateful. It literally sucks it up. It goes deep inside of it, just grabs it and pulls it right in. It re-moisturizes it and helps to protect it and weatherproof of it. And this is all part of keeping your attention on the monument. Because all the energetic processes that had to occur to create that monument called the set of deck stairs are long gone. So if I notice now that there's something out of place with the deck stairs, one of the stairs is crooked, the ability for me to change that has become more difficult as the process traveled towards the stage where it became a relic. a monument, the stage where it was done. It would have been much earlier in the stages, in the action stage still, where I would have had the most opportunity, the easiest way to deal with the crooked stair. So is the case with our lives. Everything in this universe seeks to return itself back to that sea of consciousness, of God consciousness. If you take your attention off your house, off your deck, off the wood around outside, if you don't look after those things, if you don't do the maintenance, if you don't keep your attention focused on them, at least for intense periods of time, they begin to succumb to that law of entropy. Now, believe it or not, this same principle happens to our relationships with others. The thought, words, and deeds that led up to the affirmation and the realization that you have become friends with someone else are old news. The friendship is actually a relic. It's the physical manifestation of everything that came prior. And it's okay. We love relics. We love old things. You know, at least I hope I do, because I'm one of them. But we love our statues from Rome and from Egypt, and we love those things that we see from the past. We forget that we are literally swimming in the past all the time, even though it's not really possible. But yet, from the point of view of these physical manifestations, whether it's a relationship or an experience you're having right now, or the stairs that are just being built or built in the backyard, they're all relics to the thought, word, and deed, the processes of creation that came before, the placing of attention on that void of God consciousness, and the resonating I love you as you wish in return, and the follow through to bring out the physical relic, that monument. So where's the good thing in all of this? Well, for one, it should be a subtle warning not to pile up too many things, because whatever you do pile up, and when Kelly and I, first came to know each other, I said to her, because she was concerned about the amount of things that I was literally tossing out of her life. She said to me, how do I get any of this stuff back? And I said, don't worry about it. I said, the problem in the West is not with getting stuff, it's with getting rid of stuff. In the West, everything clings to you. It just keeps coming and coming and coming no matter what you do. You don't even have to go out and try to get it. It just happens. The more you accumulate, the more relics you fill your home with. So, this television that I'm talking to you through, this big monitor I have, this 32-inch monitor, this webcam, they're actually relics. They're monuments fit for a museum. They're the product of past thought, word, and deed. They're the leftover. Sure, they're valuable. I love having the ability to use them, but I must maintain them. I must keep my care and attention, at least periodically, on them. The same is true with our relationships. That newfound friendship quickly falls away if there's no attention placed on that relic. And it is the attention that lends life for things to continue. You, in your egoic sense of physical self and being, one day will experience the cessation of the body when the real you, the full you, the higher you, takes its attention off of this physical form. We would call that death. The gift in this is, again, the reminder to have less, which means less maintenance, and less attention you need to pay to the relics, and more time you can spend creating anew. And that's another reason why we need to let go of things all the time. They're doomed to return to their primordial state. This is the law of the universe. And it is a wonderful, beautiful law. It can be equated to that beach being washed clean. Beautiful flat sand again the next day. A new slate upon which to create. So when we have things in our life that we really don't like, and no matter how many times we listen to Garhen's video on dealing with things that you like or don't like and understanding that sort of thing, you still just don't like it. It's okay. I've been there. What can you do? Take your attention off that which you don't wish to see anymore. Quit feeding it energy. The more attention it's like having a sliver. If you keep worrying the sliver and you keep poking at it and pressing at it, I was doing that myself the other day. And I was squeezing and I didn't have a tweezers or anything, and I was trying to get the sliver out, and there was blood and I was making a mess, and wait a minute. I'm giving my attention to something that's already happened. Leave it alone. It's old news. Take my attention and put it somewhere else. My body will deal with that sliver on its own accord. I don't need to pay it any attention at all. The exact same thing, and believe it or not, the sliver is actually still there, but most of it's above the surface, and the skin looks quite healthy, and it's not red anymore, and my body's doing that. Until I reminded myself of it, I had literally forgotten about it. The same thing occurs with those things in our lives that we really don't like and don't want to see anymore. Any attention you give them increases its duration. You're adding energy into that monument from the past. Because the time to change whatever's going on right now is long over. The thought, word, and deed are already all done. It's present. You have to accept it, but you don't have to lend it your attention anymore. And if you take your attention off of it, you can know deep in your being that it's doomed. And you don't have to do anything about it. Nature will deal with it in her own time. It will literally fall away and return to that primordial state yet again. So when it comes to the things that we wish to see in our lives, we must understand that thought, word, and deed energetic process that activates that womb of creation, as soon as whatever materializes that we've created, it begins to fall apart naturally. This is because we live in a universe where God didn't want to create one statue and then sit there and stare at the damn thing for another 10,000 years. He wanted to create 1 billion statues and then let those ones disappear and create 1 billion new ones, and then do another 1 billion new ones, and do it again and do it again. This is what life is about. It is about your experience. And that doesn't mean you have to throw away your child because you've had one now, so you don't need to do it anymore. What it means, though, is you don't have to keep having the same experience with your child over and over and over again. You can look for and create new experiences, whether it's your child, whether it's just you, whether it's you and your puppy dog or your kitty cat or your friend or your lover or your family. It doesn't matter. Whatever's going on now that isn't up to par is doomed. And all you got to do is quit giving it your attention. Those things that you wish to persist will have a finite lifespan, but you can encourage and support that persistence by lending your attention to those things. to make sure you give them your attention. We could call it loving the wood when I'm linseed oiling the deck itself. Because for me, it is a deep gratitude and respect for the wood that came from a living tree and is now under my feet on a deck. I owe that living tree the care and attention to care for that wood on that deck. It is the same things with those things we feel are valuable in our life. That's it, that's all. Much love on this Monday night. I'm still rubbing sawdust out of my eyes. And so good to be able to speak and see you all via digital screen these days. Namaste. Have a beautiful Monday night. We'll speak again very soon. Do 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 do.